Segue, just roll with it. Teflon Tom may have turned the tides, leading his team to a come-from-behind victory against the Rams 2 weeks ago. Now the Bucs on a 2-game winning streak and back atop the NFC South as they head into their bye week. Leading the South puts the Bucs as a 4th seed in the NFC. Meanwhile, another legend who's been struggling, Aaron Rodgers, was also able to get a win by upsetting the Cowboys at Lambeau Sunday. As of now, they remain on the outside, looking in at the final wild card spot. Thank the good Lord Marcus Spears is here because I need a break. Just
hey.
him.
Oh, me too.
Hey, y'all. Right. Yeah. No, not you. No, doggy, you've been good. Hey, Marcus.
She needs a break from
What's
me.
up, Molecule?
But she doesn't mention that she's had numerous breaks to eat, like every commercial break she's chewing. But that's okay. We can move on. It's good to see this way.
That is the exact reason she need a break from you.
You know what I'm saying?
That is the example.
Can I
right
just
there.
eat in peace?
Why can't she make up her mind? Is she a leprechaun or a Boston Celtics or a Fighting Irish with Notre Dame?
God.
Why don't she make up her mind with that? But we'll talk about that later,
that
too.
was
Let's move
actually
on.
funny.
Let's move on.
So I go, I'm just going to talk to you. So they're two goats in their own right, finally having a couple things shake their way. Which would be a more compelling turnaround, in your opinion, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, Marcus?
For me, it'll be Brady. And it's because of more than just on the field. I mean, we can play like we don't know what's happening with Tom Brady in his personal life. But when you start talking about the greatest of all time, or you start getting all of the things and details put into one, Tom Brady is the most compelling story. No, not because he's the GOAT. It's because of what he's going through on and off the football field. At times this year, and we've talked about it on this show, it looked like Tom Brady was exhausted and spent and had nothing other than football to lean on, and that wasn't going well at all. And you look at all of the times that I thought about this when I got the question. I thought about The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and I thought about him talking about all of the things that transpire from a basketball standpoint. But then I was reminded of the things that happened to him off the field, all of the things that he had to sacrifice, the loss, the dealing with family, losing his father. All of those things are built into what makes these journeys for these type of individuals different from everybody else. Now, if we're just talking about football context, maybe so. You could say that Aaron Rodgers and this squad is young and they have a record and we don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. And Tom Brady is sitting at 1 in his division. But to me, it's more than that, especially when you talk about these two, who a lot of people would argue 2 of the best we've ever seen, and 1 is the GOAT. And I think that conversation is not even to be had. So for me, it's Tom Brady. If he gets to the playoffs and gets to a Super Bowl again, this will be a part of his last dance, and it'll be as good of a story as anybody's that we've had in sports ever.
I don't think Brady, Marcus, has anything to prove. We all know he's the all-time greatest anyway. So to me, making the playoffs or winning a Super Bowl, I mean, it's great, but it's not going to add to how great he already is. Plus the fact them making the playoffs is a lot easier than Green Bay, because all they got to do is win the NFC South, which they're going to do, while Green Bay can't win the NFC North right now with Minnesota, and they got to overtake a lot of teams that have better records as a wild card. Plus, Rodgers has so much to overcome right now with the team, the record, and everything else. 1 fourth quarter doesn't make a year. So I think if Rodgers digs himself out of this scenario and digs the Packers out of where they are right now, gets to 9-8 and 10-7, figures out a way to get in, and then makes a run. Wow, Rodgers coming from behind, only has won 1 Super Bowl. Look at this. Watching this guy go out there and go there again. Remember, the one time they won the Super Bowl, they played every road game. They did not have a home game. So I think Rodgers, based on the fact that it's harder for them to get in, he's only won 1, and he came into the year with something to prove anyway compared to Brady. I'll go Rodgers with the argument. Stevie?
So I go, you haven't been on all week. This is your first time on this week, and you've disgusted me. And you've disgusted me because I have to agree with Doggy.
Wow.
I don't like agreeing with Doggy. But I have to agree with Mad Dog Russo. I think that I get where you're coming from, but I think there's a couple of points you're missing. When we talk about how rewarding and how sensational a turnaround for Tom Brady would be, you know who it would be that way for? Tom Brady. He clearly has not been himself. He clearly has been distracted. He's clearly has gone through some things this year that he has never had to go through before, because I don't recall him being married and divorced before. He's been going through it a lot. We've watched Tom Brady, and I'm not I'm not uttering a word of disrespect or any negativity whatsoever. That's his personal life. We wish him nothing but the best, him and his family. What I'm saying is when we see him in the post-game press conferences or we see him getting interviewed this week, his face has looked a bit drawn. He's looked like he's lost some weight. He looked like he was clearly distracted. There were times this year we've looked at Tom Brady, and numerous people have said he doesn't look like himself. They bordered on saying he looked a little bit unhealthy. Stress will do that to you. Stress will do that to you. And I'm not stepping out of line by saying stress. If somebody's getting divorced and all of this other stuff, you got family issues, that will stress any of us, okay? So he's human, and we understand that. So if he were to turn it around and win a Super Bowl championship, it would be incredibly sensational and rewarding for him. But there's plenty of matches we'd like to see. You wouldn't like to see Patrick Mahomes against Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, God.
You wouldn't like to see Josh Allen versus Aaron Rodgers or somebody like that? Hold on. Let me throw this out to you about Aaron Rodgers, why this would be important. Devontae Adams is gone. I believe Aaron Rodgers has everything to do with that. You should have did everything you could in your power to make sure that man stayed in Green Bay. I understand he's a grown man. He made his own decision to go and play with his boy Derek Carr, which was foolhardy in retrospect, considering what's going on in Vegas. But the bottom line is he did it because you were hemming and hawing about retiring or not retiring or moving on from Green Bay, okay? So I look at the problems that Green Bay has had, the receivers running wrong routes, the receivers dropping passes, the offense looking putrid. Do you know that Aaron Rodgers hasn't thrown for 300 yards in a single game this season? Not one. Not one single 300-yard passing game this season. Do you know that Aaron Rodgers has not thrown more than 8 interceptions in a season since 2010? He has 7 now, okay, with about 7 games to go. We've seen not slippage, because I don't believe Aaron Rodgers has slipped one bit. I believe his performance hasn't been up to snuff because of personnel issues. But he's responsible for that. To go from that and having lost 5 straight to turning this around and getting to the playoffs and ultimately winning a Super Bowl championship, I actually think that would be bigger than Tom Brady.
Okay. All right. Can I get back in here now?
Yep.
Okay. Can we get Molly on the screen? Because she going to want to be a part of this when I talk about this and girl power. Okay. Do we all remember how captivated we were when we saw Serena try to go win the U.S. Open?
Yes.
Was Serena already considered the GOAT at that point?
Yes.
And last time I checked, this question says more compelling turnaround, Rodgers or Brady, not Packers or Bucks. And you are telling me that a 45-year-old quarterback that has went through a divorce, that has now been played out in the public, who was struggling, who you just said looked drawn, stressed out, miserable. Early in this season, we were having conversations on this show about if Tom Brady made the wrong decision to come back and play football. And you telling me the most compelling story won't be him potentially going through a playoffs and winning a Super Bowl after where we've been. Don't forget this. He retired and unretired before the season started. And you are not going to go. S.A., you are a journalist first. You were phenomenal at being a journalist and still are. Mad Dog has his own channel on Sirius XM. Both of y'all know damn well if Tom Brady wins a Super Bowl, it would be more for you, Stephen A., to write about and more for Mad Dog to talk about on his station.
Hold on.
If Tom Brady won a Super Bowl.
You're right.
No. Both of y'all are wrong. I'm serious. Allow me to educate you. It would actually be a nightmare for most journalists because it's Tom Brady. Oh, Lord, here we go again.
No.
No. I'm dead serious. I'm not joking around. You asked me a question. You brought up my journalistic background. I'm telling you, for us to walk into a locker room, to sit at your computer and write a story, to go on a radio show and host a radio show, to have to revisit that story. Oh, my goodness.
Not the
here
same
goes Tom
story.
Brady again. No, I'm saying here goes Tom Brady again. Before it was on the field stuff, that was compelling because it was on the field stuff. It involved him to transitioning from New England to Tampa, the 7th ring. Could he do it? Age, all of the age attrition, all of these other things. In this particular instance, it's personal issues overcome to elevate himself to a point this year. Yes, it would be a good story. He would deserve major props, and we would applaud it. But from a journalistic standpoint, to look at Devontae Adams walk out the door, to see him bereft of weapons in a lot of people's eyes, I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers, going through this season, to see Aaron Rodgers and all that noise he bloviated about. The Packers didn't respect him. The Packers didn't defer to him. He was thinking about retiring. He wanted to move on. Then he got his money. But Devontae Adams walked out the door. Christian Watson, Randall Cobb, Romeo Dobbs, and all of this other stuff. This brother, and by the way, only one Super Bowl championship and everybody breathing down his back. How can you be so great and you ain't even been back to the damn Super Bowl since 2010? As a journalist that has to write or report or talk about it on radio or go on national television, I am not asking you. I am telling you. The only thing that would make Tom Brady more compelling in our eyes is Tom Brady's name compared to Aaron Rodgers' name. But the actual story, the juice with the story comes more from Green Bay than Tom Brady.
I totally agree. Here's the thing, Marcus. Nothing surprises you about Brady.
Right.
Would you be shocked if he won again? He's Tom Brady. He's won 7 times as it is. He's 45 years of age.
It's just the latest.
I'd be shocked if he won this year.
If Rodgers won. See, I would be surprised. Okay. Wow, Rodgers was 3-6 and won a Super Bowl?
Okay, I'm talking to a Packers fan and the guy that coined the phrase "the bad man." I'm not allowed to respond.
About the journalist, though.
It's not even close, Marcus. I am with you. Not even close.
I wish right now that I had
Aaron Rodgers.
an editor on the air with us that would tell you, that instructs us, okay, here's what you will go and report on or write about.
I can't argue with you with that because you know it and you spent 20 plus years doing it. I'm telling you now, for me personally, I would want to read the story of Tom Brady because Stephen A., the writer, would dig into the personal life and really uncover the things that were going on in his pursuit to win a Super Bowl at 45.
That's different. A Tom Brady, Giselle Bundchen angle, where you get in-depth intel about all that happened. Now that's more compelling than Aaron Rodgers.
Stephen A., that's what I was talking about.
I don't even need that.
Compared to Tom Brady,
I just need overcoming that type of adversity.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't even need details. It's just overcoming that type of adversity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mad Dog know damn well he'll be on that radio every day talking about
Marcus, I'm telling you.
I'm telling you,
gotta go.
You get more calls on Rodgers than you would on Brady. Brady's been there and done that.
This story.
Okay.
If Tom Brady
he's right. I don't like to admit it. The kid, he's right for a change.
I defer to my elders, but I would want to read the Brady story.
If it was about Giselle.
Coming up.
If all of it.
Not about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I can't wait till I get to New York because I know me